Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Football Feud. Football Feud is a game designed by Andrew Williams, I think. It's not on Board Game Geek, but he's the one communicating with me, so I think he designed it, but don't quote me on that. Published by Sporting Chance Games, plays 2 to 6 players, ages 7 plus, in about 15 minutes, and all that is correct. There's not a ton of theme on this game in the rulebook, but what you're doing in this game is you're basically playing football. You're going to be using cards, which are going to have rush yards, pass yards, good rush play, good pass play, some field goals, and then some bad cards like sack, fumble, interception. And you're trying to score as many points as you can with your cards, and possibly playing one of those bad cards on your opponent to help them lose yards, steal some of their cards, do all that kind of thing. That's it. If you want to see how that works, you can click the link in the video description, and I'll play through a few rounds, and you can check it out. If you don't care about that, stick around here, and we'll take a look at the components. Alright, so let's take a look at these components for Football Feud. Here's the box. I'm going to try to not show you my fan. It gets hot in this back room, so I had to have my fan on. The box is pretty cool. I like it. It just basically shows the cards and kind of, it's a game about football. It's fine. It's small-ish. Small size game. Tells you everything you need to know. Kind of glossy. I don't love glossy boxes, but I'm not going to throw it under the bus for that. Here's the scoreboard, which is put together like puzzle pieces, 2 little puzzle pieces. Has a bunch of these different football characters that you can play with, different shapes. It doesn't really matter, just so you know who you are. My only complaint, they're a little big, so when they get on the board, it's kind of hard to tell where they are unless you stand them up. But, if someone has some funky score, like 1, someone can't have 1 point because you can't get 1 point in football. So I don't love that. Just give me a cube or something. But this guy over here tracking the quarters is cool because you're playing 4 quarters because it's a football game. I dig that. Rulebook is a little strange. Here's page 1, but it opens like this way. And page 2 is back here. It's kind of weird. Again, it's a 1-page rulebook front and back. Not that big an issue, but just know that's a little weird. The box, 2 little sets, spaces in here for the cards and the football players. That's fine. The biggest component of the cards, and that's also kind of my biggest complaint, only for one reason. They're nice cards. They're not linen finished. They're easy to see what they are. This is clearly a quarterback. He's passing. It's for 0 yards. The colors are easy to tell. I don't know if they're colorblind friendly. That I can't talk to, because I don't know if these 2 colors look different. I guess they do have different football players. So the rush is purple, the pass is red, so I guess that's okay. My issue is the cards are kind of thick, and they're hard to shuffle. So if you're trying to do a riffle shuffle, it gets a little tricky with these. And I also noticed I've shuffled these only 3, 4, 5 times, and they're already starting to show some wear. So not my favorite thing. These cards are cool though, the little fumble cards, the ones that kind of give you the player interaction. Otherwise, it's just make the best of your hand and see what happens. These are fun. Not necessary, I don't really think, but they are fun. So my only issue, when the game is a card game, my only issue is they're hard to shuffle. I don't love that. I wish they were a little thinner maybe, and maybe some linen finish. But aside from that, not really any big component issues. So those are the components for Football Feud. Let's talk about what we think about the game. Alright, well, that was Football Feud. So this is a game that my friends at the Board Game Rundown played, and then I saw it, and I was like, man, I need to try this. I need to check this out. So I reached out to the designer. I thanked the designer again. Talked about that earlier. And he sent me a copy. And I played it, and it's a pretty fun little game. It's a really simple card game. You're getting 7 cards, and of those 7 cards, you're going to be discarding, drawing new ones, trying to basically form like, I don't want to say a poker hand, but like the perfect hand of yards and plays to score the most points. You're trying to get 100 yards. So, for example, if I have this 20-yard pass play, I've got 20 yards. But the interesting thing about this is, let me see if I can get some of the right cards here. Here's a 5-er. Of course, I can't find them now that I need them. Yeah, I'll just use these. Okay. The interesting thing is, if you play 3 of the same color and 3 of the same value, you get 100 yards. So I actually made a 0-yard pass play, but I did that 3 times effectively in the game, and I got 100 yards. So I get a field goal or a touchdown. You can also just play field goal cards, which, if I can find one, they're going to be worth just 3 points only. So you play that, you get 3 points. So you're trying, there's some cards that'll double your passing yards, double your rushing yards. If you get a combo of, the 3 of a kind and you get that double, it's really going to add up. Really simple game. There's not a ton of player interaction. There's only, I think, 4 of those bad cards. They may not come out, or someone may get all of them, and then you don't get a chance to be mean. So, I understand why they're in there. Otherwise, you're just making your best hand and doing the best you can. So this kind of always has you in the back of your mind. Maybe they're going to play a sack on me. Maybe they're going to intercept me and take one of my good cards. So you're always thinking about that. You can't let that, you can't forget about that. But overall, this is a fun game. I talked about some of the complaints I had in the components. I think the score markers are a little too big and the cards are kind of hard to shuffle. But outside of that, it's a fun little game. So if you like football and you like card games with a little bit of take that, just a little bit, then this is a game that I think you should look into. It's not fast. It doesn't outstay its welcome. Play 6 players. You can play it. It shouldn't take you any more than 20 minutes if you're, not belaboring the point. You only have 7 cards, so how long should it take you? But yeah, it's a pretty fun little game that I'll keep around, and maybe if I'm at a halftime party for the Super Bowl, or at a Super Bowl party, I guess, during halftime, we can bust this out. And, I can pretend like the Bengals are actually going to get somewhere when, it's always, let's think about next year. But that's beside the point. But there you go. So that is my review for Football Feud from Sporting Chance Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.